If you want it, if you want to live the life that you want to win, the answer is always going to be more until you're satisfied. If you understand business, businesses need to evolve or they all die, no matter who they are. That I'm outrageously confident in because that's all I know. I don't know why one would try to maximize money in the short term for their inevitable death. Put in your phone number right now, and I will answer one small business question while I wait for this meeting. I just snuck in this little session. Look, dude, you could do anything as long as you're producing content and communicating to the right people. Like, you could do anything. It's about creating the communications and building awareness around it.
So more content.
More. I love that that was the way, honestly, for all the people watching now on Instagram, the fact that that's the way you answered it made my heart smile. Yes. If you want it, if you want to live the life that you want to win, the answer is always going to be more until you're satisfied. If you really look back at early restaurant behavior when QSRs, McDonald's, things, the menus were massively limited for the reasons they were back then. And then what always happens, you overextend yourself, right? I don't know, and I don't know the catering capabilities, the cooks, like the details, but if you told me the people that make our food, like the one that's locked in, the cook, she or he, the single best thing they do in the world is make a roast beef sandwich. I would create a restaurant that's completely predicated on the roast beef sandwich. I would make the roast beef sandwich the famous thing of your catering, because now you got it nice and tight and you're using the capabilities on both sides, right? Like all of this is gonna happen, especially in New York. That's all these characters want, is a singular expertise place. Like if you told me right now the hottest restaurant in Manhattan was Ketchup and you go there and you eat ketchup, I'd be like, hipsters. Right? I actually believe that would work, what I just said. Mainly because I know everybody would come just for the Instagram photos. Like bring your own, by the way, that's amazing. If you had a restaurant where people are buying ketchup and people are bringing other, that'd be amazing. And by the way, when I tell you New York would fall for that, they would. Like fold like a cheap chair. Everybody in my office would go to that place. I mean, guys, I will just say this. Like when I think about these ideas, I always do what I'm about to do. We are sitting at a table where there is bottled water. We paid multiple dollars for water in that bottle, which is literally free to ourselves right now if we go in the kitchen. I mean, I would pay anything, and I mean a lot, just because I would want to see it. I'm trying to think how much I would pay. I would pay crazy amounts of money if somebody said they actually had the footage from the first time bottled water was thought of. I'm just dying to see how she or he got laughed out of the room.
Put water in a bottle and sell it.
I mean, oxygen is the only one, like that's the one that I want. I know it does. Versions of, yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it. I've seen it. But I'm talking just like you come in a room and you leave. like the way we, like that is more experiential. There's like things going on. I'm talking like you come into my place, it's called oxygen. You walk in, you pay me $2, and then you leave. Like, no way. This is it? All right, film it, film it.
Hope you like it. Wow.
This is really it?
Yeah.
It's not filtered, but other than that,
it's not filtered.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So it's not the wine.
It's pretty much the wine.
I don't know.
We're in deep trouble. It's good. I'm really happy.
How to tune out and not care what other people think, but still be a good listener and not be stubborn?
That's a great question. You know, like it's, you know, that's, you know, it's funny what came to me. Like the answer was like practice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good
You know, just like do it.
Yeah.
I don't know, listen to people, like do it.
Yeah.
You know, to me, it's the delta of defense and offense. Listening and not being stubborn means taking action to other people's advice for context. Mm-hmm. Defense is dwelling about people judging you.
Mm-hmm. So practicing not dwelling.
Yeah.
Yeah. How to build confidence.
Look, if you weren't raised in a way of confidence, you need to surround yourself with people that give you confidence.
I think I was, and I've accomplished so much, and I'm doing so well, but for some reason, I know you're running out of time.
Patience, and you know I talk a lot about it, and most people don't.
Yeah.
lack of patience leads to terrible behavior. Lack of patience is also a tell that you care about other people's opinions.
I do.
I get it. Lack of patience comes because you're trying to prove something to somebody. To me, if you genuinely are not waking up 90, 85% of the time pumped, like literally you're just super, you know what's so funny? I was such a bad student and I so early on deployed self-awareness that school wasn't for me. I lived a decade of my life knowing what it felt like to dwell every morning, look forward to Friday, love vacations, and then when I became a professional and did what I always wanted to do, and here I am working super hard, 21 years later, I still wake up so invigorated. I think people have to ask themselves, are they actually happy 8 out of 10 days when they wake up? And if they're not, they need to put pressure on themselves to make themselves realize they're probably not doing what they want to be doing. And then the next question becomes, are you doing a job just to afford your lifestyle? Right. And are you willing to, I'm getting so passionate about teaching people how to sell their home and go rent so that they can quit a job where they make $200,000 a year so they can take one that makes $89,000 because they'll be happy. And what did you give up? Telling people you own your home?
Right.
So I mean, I think it's I think when you hear me say that, I don't know, I haven't heard anybody talking about that. And I think it's so right. What?
I did it.
Right, like nobody's out there like, hey, sell your home and start renting so that you can quit a job that you hate so that you can afford to maybe do something you love. But I think happiness over everything. Like the American dream should not be owning a home. The American dream should be to be happy. I mean, it's just so funny, like saving money is like the most foreign, I just said that and I'm like, have I even heard somebody say that in the last? Like if you're so passionate to build your business, how about you don't spend all your money to sustain a lifestyle that you're mainly doing to impress people you don't even like, and how about you save some of it? And this has led me down a lot of places like, is buying a home a good idea? Like I've gotten into very interesting places. Like the propaganda of the American dream is to own a home is fascinating to me. I'm really starting to go down that path. I'm like I'm trying to convince people to sell their homes and rent and take the arbitrage and use that money. Like what really happens? What, you're sad that like you can't tell somebody, your mom, that you don't own a home? Like I've gotten, I've done well for myself. I haven't upgraded my New York City apartment because I'm living my thesis. I'm like, why?
You don't need to.
Why? Like it takes capital out of the system for me to do things. So like it's definitely it's very interesting to me of how many things are accepted that made sense post World War II and make absolutely no sense in 2019. Yeah. And basically the far majority of this room and people watching on video, their behaviors at this macro level are predicated on appeasing 1 or 2 people in their lives.
Oh,
Jason.
Yeah, grab my mic.
Yep.